In this video, I'm going to be showing you this free Revit plugin that can generate any type of a window or door family that you imagine. So you basically just sketch it out inside of the plugin and it generates this high quality detailed parametric family which you can use in your Revit projects. This plugin is called GEALAN Planersoftware, and if you don't know, Galan is one of the largest manufacturers of plastic profiles for doors and windows in Europe. They have a very strong commitment to BIM. They've actually won the BIM Haynes Award for 3 times in a row now, which is the largest BIM award for manufacturers of building products in Germany. Now, this plugin is available, as I said, completely for free. I'm going to link it up just below this video in the description, and then also up in the cards above. There you can learn more about the plugin, and also you can check out some tutorials on how to use it for different applications. Now there are some pre-made windows that you can use, all sorts of complex windows and doors. They even have like a corner window, which is really rare for Revit, and especially in the situation where you can actually customize it quite a bit. Now, of course, the main reason why I want to show you this plugin is because you can actually sketch out your windows. You basically give it a simple sketch, then you can specify which type of frame, which types of windows or doors that are going to be included there, how they are supposed to open, and so much more. So you can specify everything, give it all information, really simply just enter that information, and then it actually generates the families for you, so you don't have to model the families yourself. These families are really powerful because they're generated easily and quickly, and the file size is low, so it's not going to slow down Revit for you. Now, in this video, I'm just going to be showing you on a project example how we're going to be generating multiple windows, and then I'm going to be showing you how you can actually take a look at all of the project data inside of the plugin, where you can actually contact Galan and get information about these profiles and actually check if everything can be done for your project. So it's a really good approach where architects can just kind of specify what the windows are supposed to look like, and it generates a family for you that can actually be built. It's not something that's kind of imaginary and then you have to search for manufacturers. The family that you create in this plugin can actually be built for the real project, which I think it's really powerful. And full disclosure, this is a sponsored video. Now we're going to be creating some really cool families inside of this plugin, so let's jump into Revit. For the first family, we're going to be creating a balcony door, which is going to be located over here. So what I'll do is go to add-ins, then here we have Galan panel, and I'm just going to click on new element. Now this will bring up Planersoftware, and here we have the option to choose among many different options. Here we have windows, we have French doors, residential doors, so on and so forth. Now in this particular case, because we're doing something a little bit different, I'm just going to come here to free structure and click on that. Now this will bring up the free structure menu, which is divided into multiple steps, so we just have to follow the steps, and the first one is draw structure contour. So I'm just going to be using the rectangle tool, and I'm simply going to create a rectangle like this. Then we're going to continue to step 2, and for this we have to define structure divisions. I'm going to start off with coupling profile vertical, and then let's add one here and one here. Then I'm going to move to mullion vertical and place one here, and finally move to mullion horizontal, place one here and here as well. Okay, so once we have all of those in place, I'm just going to click continue. And now we have to define the type of element. So here, as you can see, we can select each one of these, and then we can say, is it a window, a French door, a residential door, and so on. So I'm just going to click on window for this one and for this one. And for this one, this will be a French door. Then we can continue And for step number 4, we have to add our dimensions. So I know that the full width, I want this to be 3400 millimeters. For the full height, I want it to be 2200 millimeters. For this distance here, I want this to be 1100 millimeters. And then this will be 800 for the window, and then both of the doors will be 900 millimeters. Now what you'll see here is that this dimension and this one will just be calculated obviously by subtracting these 3 from this one and this one from the total one. Okay, so once we have all of this in place, let's hit apply. And this will create that window. Now I still want to make some changes, so what I'll do here is I'm just going to click and then what I actually want to do here is, instead of having these two, as you can see, these are just separate doors, so I'm just going to click here and then I'm going to click here on type, and for the type I want this to be a movable mullion, so I'm just going to click on that, and now as you can see it's basically 2 doors, but they open from the middle, which is exactly what I want to see here. Now also here I want to have a couple of windows here on each side, so I'm just going to click on one of these and then change the type. And here for this one I want this to be tilt and turn. Let's go with the right-handed option. Okay, and as you can see here we have that, and then let's do the same thing here. So in this case again tilt and turn, but this will be the left-handed option. And we have that window there. Now of course we can modify the color, so we can just go here to color, and currently it's white both for exterior and interior. We can adjust those separately. Now in this case, just for the exterior, I'm going to choose this one and click OK. And then if we want to preview what this looks like as a 3D model, we can do that by going here to 3D view element, and that will bring up the 3D viewer. Now here you can look around, you can orbit, and also what I really like is the fact that you can just click on the door or a window and it's going to open up that element, which is really cool. And then you can just click to close. So you can just see kind of the full function. Okay, so once everything is done, I can just close down this 3D viewer. And also something that I want to show you is the option for U value. So here you can see we have U value basically for these windows, and we can actually change that. So as you can see here, for the windows, we have one U value here, so it's basically 95.95 for both windows, and then the French door is 0.94. Now if I were to click on one of the windows, we have the option to change the glazing. So if I click on this, you'll see that now I can go in here and change the thickness or type of glass. So currently we have a 36mm glass panel, but if I change it to this one, and then if I apply that change, what you'll notice now, if I come here, you'll see that the resulting U value will change. So you have the option to customize that as well. Okay, so now let's say I'm happy with the family and I want to load it into Revit. Well, we just need to click here on save, and then it's going to ask us, is this going to be used as a door or a window? In this case, this is going to be used as a door, so I'm just going to click yes, and it's going to load it in as a door family. Now I can just zoom in here and place the family to the correct spot. So I'm just going to click here to place it. Now here it's just placed the other way around, so we can just come in here and go to the floor plan where that's hosted. In this case, that's level 3 floor plan, and here I can just flip it to the other side. So if now I go back to the 3D view, now you can see we have the proper positioning. We have that kind of grayish bluish on the outside, and everything is now in place. Now you can still modify this family. When you create this family, it creates it actually as a parametric family. So what you can do is you can go here into edit type, and that will open up the type properties, and here we can change a wide range of parameters. So for example, here for the install depth, I'm going to change that to 8 centimeters, and my overlaps, or the outer overlaps, both top, left, and right, I'm just going to change all of them to 5 centimeters. So once I make that change, I can just hit apply, and you'll notice that here in the model that change will apply, and now we have kind of set it up exactly how we want to have this window or this balcony door. Now let's move to a little bit different situation, and that is over here where we have these windows on this facade. So let's say we already have some windows and we want to exchange them for new, better windows. So I'm just going to select one of these. I'm going to click off to the side and find here, select all instances, and then select in entire project. This will basically select all windows in entire project that are of this type. Once we have done this, now I can go to add-ins. I can then go to Galan, and instead of new element, I'll click on the change element, which will create a new element which will be used to, well, exchange this existing window. So I'll come here, I'm just going to select window first, and then let's find one that I want. So for example, let's say I want to select this one, tilt and turn with spandrel. I'm going to click OK then. And now here we can make some modifications. So first here for the dimensions, the width, I'm fine with that. The height here, I want to change this to 2130 millimeters, and I'm just going to click OK. And then for this height here, I want to change this to 500 millimeters, and then I'm going to click OK. Then I'm going to find this profile on the bottom, I'm going to click, and then let's exchange this by going to additional profiles, and I'm going to choose a connecting profile bottom, and I'm just going to go down and select this particular one. Then I'll just click OK. So now we have changed that profile. Then let's go and change the color as we did previously. So I'm just going to select the same color so everything comes together nicely, and click OK. And now I want to add some sash bars to this window. So I want to add them to this glass. So I'm just going to click on that and then find sash bars here. And now I can select that glass. I'm going to pick out these sash bars here. I'm going to click, and it's going to place them there. Obviously, we have an option where we can modify the number horizontally or vertically. I'm happy with this layout that we have, so I'm just going to save this as is. Well, it's already applied, so we can just close out of this, and now you can see that we have those sash bars there in place. So once we have these here, I can just go to the 3D view just to make sure that everything looks exactly how I want it to look, and we can see that it does look really good. We can also click to see how that window would open, which is always a nice thing to see that animation. And then I'm just going to close and save that, which will load it into the project. But of course, first we need to answer the question, is this, or should this be loaded in as a door? And in this case, no, it should not. This is a window, so I'm just going to click on no. So now this will be loaded in as a window family. And now, as you can see, all of the old windows have now been replaced with the new ones, which were generated by the Galan plugin. Now, once we have these in place, let's now open one of the floor plans. So I'm just going to open up my level 3 floor plan. Here we can see this is where that window is applied. Now what you'll notice is that it will have a different presentation depending on the level of detail. So this is currently set to coarse level of detail, so it gives you, well, obviously very little detail. If I change that to medium, we're going to see now kind of the contour lines of the profiles and everything, which is nice. And then finally, if I go to fine level of detail, it's going to show even more. We can even see the planes of glass and everything, which is really useful. But now let's make some changes here. So I'm just going to select the window, and then let's go into edit type and make some changes to the parameters. So similarly how I did with that balcony door, I'm just going to change the install depth to 8. And then our outer overlaps, both top left and right, we're going to change to 5 centimeters, hit apply. Okay, and now as you can see, we have that changed depth, but we also have that overlap. Now this can also work in a section view. So if I just go here to section, and let me just run a quick section through this model here and open that up. Okay, so here, if I come to this, you can see this is what that looks like in section view at a fine level of detail. Obviously, it's going to be different depending on the level of detail, but here we can also change the sill depth, for example. So if I select the window, go into edit type, here I can find my sill offset or overlap. So what I can do here is I can change it. So in this case, let's change it from 3.5 to 5 on the inside, hit apply, and now as you can see that value has changed. I can also find the same overlap on the outside, so let's change that to 5 as well, hit apply, and as you can see it will change there as well. So we can make some additional modifications here, and also in the section view, see it will show you the tilt opening and how that looks like in the section view, and also we have that overlap that we have applied on top. So we have now applied these windows and we have adjusted the parameters, and these are of course type parameters, so changing the parameters of one window will automatically change it for all windows in the project. Now we're going to be looking at some of the project functionality that the Galan Planner software has to offer. So here we have a project and I have added all of the necessary windows for this project, and of course the doors. And now let's say we want to explore this on a kind of a project basis. Well, if I go here to the add-ins tab to the Galan Planner software panel, here we have a project button. Now when I open this up, it's going to open up Planner software, and here you can see we can either create new projects if we don't have one already. In this case I do have one, so it's called project 2, and I can just double click on this and it's going to open up that project. Now here we have basically a compilation of all of the of everything that's included in the project when it comes to Galan products, so doors and windows and so on. So here we can explore, as you can see, this is all grouped under group 1, so you can create numerous groups just to kind of classify everything if you have a larger project. In this case that's not necessary, so everything is under group 1. So here you can see we have this window here. If I go down, we have this window, so on and so forth. Here we have that one that we have created a little bit earlier, and I can just explore everything that's included in this project, and it's also going to give me all of the necessary data about those elements. Now apart from that, what you can do is you can find a window where you perhaps want to make some changes, for example this one. Now I can delete this window if I want, I can copy it, or I can edit it. So if you want to change the dimensions or edit anything else, you can just click here on edit and you're back to the editor and you can make some changes. Now in this case I'm just going to cancel out. Also what you can do with this, you can also come and you can basically contact support for Galan, and they will give you all of the information that you need. So perhaps you're just interested in this window, can it be manufactured, are there any problems with it or something like that. Usually the plugin is going to tell you if you're perhaps creating a window that's too large to be manufactured or something like that, but if you just need some extra information, you have that option, which is really cool. Here we have construction, so you can basically add new windows to this project if you want. And then also what you can do is you can come here back into Revit, and here we can see basically a list of all of those windows kind of in a project basis. So here you can insert these doors and windows if you want, or if I just cancel out of this for a second, let's say that you've inserted all of the windows and you've made that project here in the Galan project building model. But now, let's say somebody makes some changes to the project. So someone goes out and then here they delete a couple of windows, just like so. And now if I open this back up, you'll notice here that for these windows, so this is the window that they've deleted, here's the quantity. So 5 is something that has been specified for the project initially, and now here we have only 3 windows in the project. So you can basically look at this and then you can say, oh, so 2 windows are missing, and then you can explore, is this something that has happened by accident? So are these windows missing and should be put back, or is this something like let's say project change and we need to update here the quantity of windows that we're ordering? So it's always going to inform you if there is any discrepancy between the project here in Galan and in the actual Revit model. And in this case, let's say that this was a mistake indeed and we want to return these windows back in. We can just go here to insert, and then I can come in here and just place those windows back into the project. And here we can just find its correct position, like so, and then we can just place it there in the project. So in this case, I think they're the wrong way around, so I would have to flip them. And let's go here, this is level 2, I think. So I can just flip it around to have the correct location. Can I do the same thing for the one below? Nope. So let's go to this one and flip it around. And now when we go back to the 3D view, and if I go here to a project building model, I can now see that here the quantity that has been specified in the Galan project and the quantity in the actual Revit project, they match. So that's exactly what we want to see here. Now I can go back to select project here, so it's going to bring us back to this menu, and I can just open up this project again. And now something that's also really powerful about this project environment is the fact that we can actually download this entire specification for all of the windows inside of the project. Now you can pretty much take this entire project, you can share it with either other architects or with Galan staff, and then you can just make sure that that you get either quotes or you get all of the information on can everything be manufactured properly. But also apart from that, you can just download all of this specification. Now here you can download it in multiple file formats. Now here I'm just going to stick with the PDF option. Here we have just some additional options which we can include or exclude, and then I'm just going to hit download, which is going to download this entire specification. So this is something that usually you would have to assemble perhaps from multiple manufacturers, and it's really a nightmare because us architects don't like to do this type of work. But here you can see that well, you have all of the specifications here. So this is just some information on the windows, and then here you can see for each of the windows all of the information that's necessary. It's located there, and it's just convenient. You just download that PDF and you can provide it with the project. So it really saves a lot of time. So I'm just going to escape out of all of this. So there you go. That's how you can utilize the Galan Planner Suite plugin when it comes to working on projects and just generating all of the windows, making changes to those windows, applying them, and then creating a project where you can then get all of the specification information, and you can actually check can everything be manufactured properly for your project. And that concludes today's tutorial. So I hope you have enjoyed it. As I said, if you want to check this plugin out, it's completely free, so you just go follow the link in the description or up in the cards above, and you can try it out for yourself. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back with another Balkan Architect tutorial in a few days. Have a nice day.